Hey everyone, and welcome to our webinar on ASO and app growth, the truth about app growth in 2026. We are just starting, so let's wait until everyone joins us. Uh, so far, please check out the chat and let us know whether you can hear and see us well. Is everything all right with the sound? Please let us know. Um, I see the number of attendees is growing. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, thanks, Adrian. The first birds, early birds in our chat already there. And while we are waiting for everyone to join, as often, we might need some time until everyone gathers here. So let's just use this time to get to know each other a bit better. So I have a suggestion. Please drop in the chat where you are joining from or what city you're watching us from today. Would be really interesting to find out. Hey, Yuri, greetings to Kiev. Madrid, wonderful city. I visited it last year. Lviv, wonderful city too. Copenhagen is yet to visit. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I see Portugal in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, of course.
Barcelona, one love. I I adore Barcelona, frankly.
Who does?
And Luisa, new like new citizen of London, right? Official.
Yes.
Congrats on that.
Thanks. Yeah, it was not an easy journey to get to the citizenship. It's a long one.
You can imagine that, but that's really cool.
Thanks.
Brasov, interesting. I even
Romania.
to my shame, yeah,
Romania, yeah, right. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, we even have Peru. Wow, we have Beckenham. Such a wide geography today. It's so nice to know that we are placed worldwide, but still we are together here. Uh, and Fatima joins from Pakistan. So nice. Denmark. Yeah, we already have two people from Denmark here. Cool. So, guys, I think thank you for sharing. Still, if you haven't shared where you're joining us from, please drop in the chat. Really interesting because it amazes me. Like, uh, what a wide map we have embraced here meeting today. And again, I want to say welcome to our webinar. I want to just shortly introduce the topic we are going to cover today. I mean, in more detail. Um, and it includes what actually changed in app discovery in the past couple of years, why keywords alone, like it used to be in ASO a few years ago, don't do their job fully anymore, why you cannot rely only on keyword optimization, how conversion, paid user acquisition, and of course, artificial intelligence signals now shape app visibility. Also, we will share really interesting, I promise, real examples of what's working today for mobile growth and probably what's not. And closer to the end of our live panel today, we will also share a practical playbook for 2026, what to do only useful, valuable insights and advice, I promise. So again, a few people joined. Guys, we are already starting, and in the chat we discuss where we are joining from. And meanwhile, let me introduce our amazing experts today, our panel of guests. And let me introduce Niek Leermakers, who is Director of SEO and ASO at AirHelp. Really great service and app at the same time. And with a background in scaling organic growth for software as a service and e-commerce, Niek is now focusing on how AI search is redefining brand visibility and user intent. Hey, Niek, and thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
And another amazing guest we have today, like not guest, but expert speaker, Marina Anton, who is app acquisition lead at Interactive Investors. Marina has optimized App Store presence and performance campaigns across multiple verticals, including gaming, fintech, and consumer apps. And she has hands-on experience in ASO, paid user acquisition, and creative testing. And Marina is passionate about growing products through a blend of analytical rigor and creative intuition. Marina, that's wonderful you joined us today. Hey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And last but not least, I want to introduce our amazing, very own Applica's speakers. Luisa Ronchi. She's our head of marketing at Applica with over 10 years experience growing apps through both paid user acquisition and ASO. Luisa, say hi again.
Hello, guys. Excited to our talk.
Yeah, and Mykyta, or you can also call him Mike Haidaienko, is the ASO lead at Applica, and with over 5 years of experience in mobile marketing, he has worked across virtually all major app stores, developing and executing organic growth strategies for mobile growth. Hey, Mike.
Hey, thank you so much.
So I think we are ready to start our panel, our conversation today. But before we start, I think it would be interesting to everyone here present. We want to launch just a couple of polls throughout our conversation. And I think the results will be curious for everyone. So can we ask to launch the first poll? Yeah, and just quickly, we have a quick question. What drives the most impact on your app growth today? I think we're here also to exchange our experience, to share it. Oh, the results are changing so fast. Well, no one has voted for ASO just yet, but I hope that today's conversation will shift how you see it, and probably you'll start relying on it more. The results are changing really quickly. Okay. Oh, yeah, we have. Yeah, so it's here too. Okay, just to not to take much time, just a couple of seconds, please vote who hasn't done it yet, and then we'll quickly watch the results. So is everyone seen the results on the screen? Because I'm not sure. I've shared, yeah. So interesting, a mix of all, a mixture of all, like the most reasonable approach, I think. And paid UA and product optimization, onboarding and paywalls, they are sharing the second place, and ASO takes the third position. Thank you, guys. And now let's move on. So I have a question. Why did ASO, is that narrative even appear? What has happened? What changed so much in the last few years? So, Luisa, maybe you could cover this.
Yes, sure. So, yeah, when I hear people saying that ASO is dead, I hope they are talking about the old ASO, known by keyword stuffing and search optimization, black hat techniques, or standard A/B testings. And that is right, that version of ASO is long gone. And what we call ASO today has evolved very much, as we all experts here we know. And the market has changed. The algorithms in the stores have, massively changed in the last couple of years. The users' behaviors have changed as well. And things like, search optimization alone is not enough. So adding a keyword here and there doesn't bring you really downloads anymore. Keyword stuffing, motivated traffic. So those are like terms that we've heard a lot. These things are dead, basically. And I mean, the signals and of the app stores, the algorithms, they've even been penalizing apps that are pushing for those kind of activities, let's say. And then competition has exploded in the last couple of years, and standing out on the App Store, it's becoming more challenging, more difficult, and it requires like a lot of efforts, not only like one single activity. And the last thing I would say is the LLMs, of course, have changed how users are discovering apps, and we're going to be talking about this in the webinar. But one interesting thing that didn't change since the beginning is the fact that your App Store listing is still the last touch point of the users before they download the app. And just yesterday, Simon from AppTweak, actually, he shared an interesting stat saying that 50% of the citations of ChatGPT answers are pointing towards the App Store web page. So basically, your App Store presence is not only being found on the App Store, the app itself, but also through those LLM searches. And maintaining that page, that listing, it has always been an activity of ASO, right? So ASO is not dead. Actually, I would say it's pretty much alive. It has changed, but it's as important as it's always been. So this is my take, I would say, to the ASO is that question.
Yeah, and I hope no one can argue that, because yeah, eventually, where are you downloading an app from the App Store or Google Play or any other store? And you mentioned a lot that has changed recently, but I want to narrow down the question a little bit. What actually changed in app discovery in the last couple of years, like from 2023, 2024, up until now? Mike, what are your thoughts on this?
Like globally, I believe that for the last 10 years, ESO haven't changed much. I mean, in global sense, the sense of the ESO, you still should find your audience, you should still find the core keywords, you should still communicate to your audience in a way they understand and they can find you. So, but basically, yeah, like a lot of stuff changed in case of the ESO, like tools that we were using and directions we were using, like overall techniques. And I would probably highlight here two things. Like from the one angle, we have, let's say, one core market changer right now that appeared 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. It is ChatGPT, which appeared like all overall those LLMs. So it is like, I won't say that it is competitor for Google or Apple, but at the same time, it is a new way how you can find an app. At the same time, it slightly changes user behavior. In the end, like users are starting exploring an app, so they're not really just looking, like for VPN directly in the App Store. They probably need some kind of the solution, so they are bringing some intent there. And right now, the search query, for example, could look like more than just VPN. It could be like VPN with a kill switch feature, VPN for a special country, etc. So let's imagine like you are exploring in apps in ChatGPT. Like I need a solution for that. It is VPN. Please provide me 10 VPNs. you're exploring, looking at them, like all good, all fine, but you don't know, like, okay, so they're pretty much the same. Like a lot of servers, you pay for subscription and that's pretty much it. But there is some like small technical things that you have to explore more. And you're coming back to ChatGPT asking, okay, ChatGPT, please provide me like 10 VPNs that have kill switch feature, and it will provide you the list. And I believe that overall, Google and Apple all both have this in their mind that strategically they should also cover this part of the search query of the user's intent. Like the user should be able to find an app like with a long-term search query. Like previously, it was an issue if you type a huge message to App Store search or Google Play search, they won't show you any search results. But right now they do, and that was a matter of the algorithm change, which was probably a few years ago on Google side and a year ago on Apple side. But more than that, like industry-wise, looking at stores directly, like I would probably highlight four main changes. Like it's definitely personalization of search results of the content you see in App Store. Second thing is technical metrics and engagement metrics that at least Google really, really clearly see and really takes into account when ranking your app. Third thing is like exactly what I mentioned, like they moved their algorithms from the exact match where you were looking just for VPN to more contextual match where you can look for like a longer keywords, whatever. And a fourth factor that I've already mentioned, it is um, a new player on the market. It's exactly like those AI agents that appeared. So they are also changing slightly how users would discover an app, what gonna be the way they're gonna find your app. But overall, both Google and Apple was working on their vulnerabilities previously, and right now they became like what we see today. But from the ASO perspective, like ASO still here to be the layer between user and developer, between Apple and developer or Google and developer. So it brings some confusion. Overall, if you take a look at all of the change that we've done, like a lot of tactical things change, a lot of strategical things change. So it's confusing. At the same time, you cannot provide like a really like number or a really like one strong factor that would really like matters for all of the algorithms. So I would say that it is a part of the skepticism I see from the developers. Like they cannot really understand. They are confused. Like you have a lot, but you cannot like say something concrete. Really like that. Yeah, I think probably anyone has something to add for that.
Yeah, what made the industry skeptical? Because Mike has explained it all makes sense, but where is this skepsis come from? Marina, maybe you have something to add.
Yeah, I think definitely like Mike said and Luisa said, like the ASO is changing, and it's not about, keyword stuffing. And before, like you would, for example, add VPN in your title, and then you would see maybe something moving there. But now the keyword impact is a bit different because we're moving towards like more contextual scenario, like Mike mentioned. So I would say that the signals that made the industry skeptical is that ASO is not the same as it used to be. There's no much like a clear win as maybe it was before when you would do a metadata optimization, you would add your keywords, you would see something moving. Now it's less direct, less visible. We talked about AI, we talked about, appearing in these LLMs. So attribution, it's a bit blurred in that sense as well. Obviously, you have the organic overlap with like UA, then now you have AI, so it gets a bit confusing. Rankings become a bit unstable. When we talk about, personalization as well, it's kind of hard to maybe pinpoint exactly what's happening on your stores. And I think overall results are slower. If you think about it, they're compounding. They're not that instant as it was before. Every 3 weeks to a month, you would do your, metadata optimization. You would do your A/B test, and you would see things moving on your store. Now you don't really see that, and that's where I think the confusion is coming from. That's why I think people feel that ASO is dead. It's just because they don't really see those results as they used to see them. People think UA it's easier because it's faster feedback. You have more control, but it's not necessarily true. I mean, yes, UA is great. You need UA. They need to work together. But I do think that you shouldn't, deprioritize ASO because, like Luisa mentioned, is very much alive. It's just, moving into a different direction. So I think maybe for the moment why the industry is skeptical is because ASO lost a little bit of transparency, maybe how it used to be before, but it's just shifting direction, and we just need to basically adapt to that.
Thanks, Marina. So we just need more patience because everyone is expecting to get the results as they used to, but not now, not the situation now. And you also referred to Paid UA, and guys, we will discuss this later too, like ASO plus user acquisition and AI. And now let's discuss app discovery more closer. And I want to talk how the App Store search experience actually changed for users. What changed for users? Because we discuss now how we need to operate now, but let's look at the aspect of personalization. Mike, maybe you'd like to take this one.
I would like to cover all of those, but yeah, let me take it. So actually, what changed for users, like from user perspective, I believe that everything they see, it's mostly like that stuff is the personalization exactly, like, and what it brings to user. Like they see the best quality solution on the market. So both Apple and Google have that in their mind to provide the best solution which user gonna buy. And right now, I think that what Google and Apple provides in their search results is like the most relevant search results we saw ever before. Like it became more solution driven, of course. Just here the exact matter of the personalization that you're trying to sell overall the product to your customer, and of course in App Store there is some different audiences that can find your app, and to be more specific, like both Apple and Google was working on some of the iterations of their stores. Like I would say like three probably parts from that. First one, I would say it is like the quality of the product that Google probably in 2023 or even earlier, they have changed there where they started like to pick up this factor as one of the core factors of ranking. Second thing is the platform itself changed a little, so there are new placements, there are new blocks in App Store you can find, or both in Google Play as well. And third thing is the algorithm itself. So mainly we can absorb that through the tools that Apple and Google provides to us. So in 2024, Google provided custom store listings, with which you can target any keyword. In 2025, Apple did the same with the CPPs. It's already the factor of personalization where you are providing the best solution to the search intent, to the thing that users are looking at. Another thing that I would also add here is promotional content, which became more like, let's say, more wider, because previously it was like just a small community which were you were able to use those promotional content. But right now, it's almost available for all of the developers. Some thresholds still, but it's already some factor of personalization. And if you dive deeper into this promotional content, well, there is quite a lot of the settings. You can target anyone, like, and you can really deliver a specific thing to them. And from the another thing is that they moved from exact match to more, let's say, query intent routine, like the users can provide the context for you and find the best solution. So it is those things with the personalization matters. And here we can also like remember some updates on Apple side with long tail keywords that were AI generated. They probably released it in April 2025, right? So yeah, there was some quite a lot of the changes, quite a lot of the tools we saw, quite a lot of the changes. But yeah, in the end, what is bring to user, especially is this personalization. Like they get a better experience, and it is the matter what Apple and Google want to provide to users. One interesting thing that I want also to highlight is like that Apple at least starts reading its screenshot. So we had an interesting case, by the way, with AirHelp, where we added a trust pilot page on our screenshots. And for some reasons, we started appearing in search results, but it was never, it wasn't in any other metadata field. So that was strange. We were checking, like trying to like understand why. We've checked other competitors who was using also those Trustpilot page, but for some reasons, only AirHelp appeared in search results for Trustpilot. And we had an idea that the Apple picks the pilot keyword and associate it overall with AirHelp, as AirHelp provides some flight tracking, like overall stuff related to flying. And that was our idea, how they read, how they understand, like how new algorithms understand the app itself. Like they're not looking only in the keyword field, but also looking at the whole thing. So yeah, like just mentioned that in case of the personalization, that you are bringing quite a lot of the contents to users to make their journey, their like to cover their interest in the App Store. So yeah, mainly probably users especially are gonna see that part, like this part of the personalization.
Thank you so much, Mykyta. And yeah, I remember the rumors that Apple is starting indexing words on the screenshots, but they were just rumors. We had no proof, like, and it's still not officially confirmed. But you saw the real case, like experienced it is. So it's really nice to know that. You should take into account that still, even if it's not official. And you also mentioned the change of algorithms. And I want to ask Niek, like, what signals now matter more than ever for those App Store and Google Play algorithms, per your experience?
So I'd say there are two things mainly. So first thing is something we call the new ASO, and this is where like organic discovery it really happens also outside of the app stores. So you could think about your off-store app presence, basically. So these are like blogs talking about your app, best of app lists, articles, maybe even like Reddit discussions. They all now act as a signal that really boost your organic authority, like inside the stores as well. It all connects, right? And the second is engagement, I believe. So you can think about something called retention. I believe now is a very important ranking factor. So like if 90% of your users like delete the app under 24 hours, like the algorithm sees this as a failure and it really like lowers your visibility. Also like on both stores, like technical debt is now really killing visibility. So if your app is not responding and not working for like a period of time, the crash rate is like even slightly higher than your competitors, then you're basically banned from the top rankings as well. And third, like the frequency. So it's not only about if they actually use the app, but how many times and how often as well. So you can actually see this happening in other organic channels like SEO as well. Like in the latest few Google Core algorithm updates, they really focus on something called helpful content and crack down on like AI slop, basically. So for ASO, that would mean like vibe coded apps that people might like download, but then never use again. And they're actually now being left behind. It's up to you if you think that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. Even like I remember a few years ago, like in some leaked documents from Google, they basically admitted that they use Google Chrome browser user behavior data to influence like Google search results. And I don't have any doubt that in smaller ecosystems, like the app stores, like both Apple and Google, monitor user behavior very closely. So yeah, maybe there's more evidence about this engagement, but maybe Mike can pitch in on this as well.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. Like engagement wise, I don't remember exactly when it was, probably half of the year ago. Google updated their console, and right now, if you're not matching their expectations on monthly active users, daily active users, overall engagement, they will notify you about that you're underperforming. And that's the thing that they usually highlight also in their response if you're talking to their support. But from the quality of the app perspective, yeah, definitely that's the thing. And we had a few cases here. For example, on one of B2B apps that we were working on, there was some issues with the app. The ANR was much higher than the peer median and also than the threshold of the bad behavior. And once we fixed the issues on the app side, we suddenly appeared in organic results, so the visibility has grew. And another case was the interesting one, more with the crash rate also related, so less with ANRs, but crash rate, where each new Android version, when it was appearing, like Android 15, Android 16, and right now it's coming 17, one app has a bad performance on new Android device. And Google also pessimized us in organic visibility because of that. So yeah, mainly I would say those factors are matters quite a lot right now in both Google and Apple,
Yeah.
at least Google.
If I can just add here also ratings and reviews as an
Sure.
engagement signal, like I think now they're becoming even more important than they were before. Also, if you search, like ChatGPT, what's the best app for this and that, and then it kind of tells you, oh, users say this, or users say it's crashing all the time. So yeah, it's quite important as well.
Thanks, Marina, for adding in because yeah, ratings and reviews have always been important. No one can argue that, but now they are even more important since not only like casual visitors of your app store page can see what users think, but even a wider audience looking for an app. So that's great to know. And switching a bit more to the topic of AI and LLMs, Niek, I know you are now working a lot on AEO. I think not everyone might know what this term means. This is answer engine optimization or AI engine optimization. Could you please break it down? Or what does it actually mean? And why is it even part of our ASO conversation today?
Yeah, so I think everyone has seen like a lot of these like terms floating around, like AEO, like GEO as well. But it basically means that you as a brand or as a product, you're being recommended by an AI assistant. So what first comes to mind is like obviously ChatGPT, but it can be any large language model or any AI assistant within another product, for example. So as an example, like a potential like app user could ask in Gemini, like what is the best like flight tracker app, right? And these AI models can actually now act as the gatekeeper. So this means that if an LLM doesn't know your app at all, but trusts your reputation from across the web, then you're not even there, you're not even part of the conversation, and then the user doesn't even search you in the app stores afterwards. So I believe that this new connection is definitely a new thing that has changed during the last year or so. With AirHelp, we actually published last month like a very in-depth blog article comparing all the best flight tracker apps. We did it very honestly, obviously, but as a result, like as you know, within flight tracker apps, there's massive competitors like Flight Radar have been there for like 15 years. But now, because of all of this activity outside of the App Store that we did, AirHelp is now already mentioned in ChatGPT as one of the best choices. Obviously, results are always personalized, but I've checked this in many instances. And we can actually see like traffic and conversions from AI engines coming through, like app installs as well. So it is definitely important to keep promoting your app features on other platforms, because in the search everywhere era that we're in now, like working together with all of the acquisition and marketing departments on improving your brand sentiment across the web, it really gives you an edge over competitors who don't do that. There is a but, however, there always is, and I find it quite tricky to really attribute like app installs and conversions to AI, right? So you can track like AI crawler behavior on a page level from like server logs or whatever, but this is very time and resource intensive. So like a simpler way to do that is to actually add tracking codes to CTAs and banners on your website that on pages that are actually cited by LLMs, and then you have CTAs and banners that actually point towards like downloading the app as well. And that way you can really see the actual impact if whenever these articles are cited, if they actually turn into conversions as well. So that's mainly what we've seen here in AirHelp.
And Niek, we have a question related to what you just got. By the way, guys, please ask your questions. We have both Q&A section, and we have a couple of questions there too. But here I see a question from Anastasia. Niek, would you like to answer this one?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, there's many different tools now available, right? I haven't checked the one on AppTweak yet, but I think they all use the kind of like the same data set. However, I don't know if you're familiar with more like search marketing tools like Ahrefs or SEMrush. Like they all now have also this functionality and this feature inside their product as well. But yeah, definitely AppTweak, they'll probably focus more on the actual apps, but I don't know if they cover the whole web such. So I definitely maybe look into a separate tool that looks across the entire web. This includes Reddit, YouTube, everything.
Thanks so much. And guys, I mentioned we will have a couple of polls today, not too many. So please, I'll ask our colleague to launch another poll related to this topic about AI-driven discovery, because I'm really curious if you have already started optimizing your app for this AI discovery, not for AI search, but rather for answer engine optimization. Like, I see that so far most of you are just planning to. That's great too. At least you're thinking about it, and I hope that today's insights and experience, hands-on experience, our experts are sharing will be really useful. Yes, still experimenting. And we have already a great case that Niek mentioned that you can already bear the fruit out of it because AirHelp is already on LLMs. So although it's hard to attribute, overall it obviously impacts your brand awareness, your app awareness. So can we look at the results, please? I don't know whether they are on screen now.
Yeah, they are on screen. I see most people voted for no, but planning to. So that's 82% of voters are still not yet explored optimizing for.
And the second spot is like early birds who has already started experimenting. Yeah, awesome, guys. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, now everyone can see it on screen. Thank you again. And I think, again, we will inspire you to already start, not only think, but already start and to make the first steps in this direction. Like we have already discussed that AI 100% has changed the way people discover apps. And just a few years ago, app discovery was relatively simple if you compare it to today's. And most users search directly on Google or wait straight to the like App Store. They are using either Apple's App Store or Google Play. So the question is, how should we approach ASO in this new landscape? Like how to optimize your ASO listing today? So Marina, could you please walk us through how a really strong in this new reality ASO listing looks like this year in 2026?
Yes, for sure. I think like we literally talked the whole time that ASO is shifting. I think now the App Store listening should be a bit more CRO first, maybe than it used to be before. So, obviously I still believe personally that keywords are important, but like we mentioned before, the VPN example that Mike gave, it's not just about one keyword with high volume, in title, subtitle, or short description, but I think it's more about like the contextual side of things. So long tail keywords, not necessarily, I would say, the highest volume out there, but the most relevant for you and how you want to appear in different, searches. Like again, we mentioned LLMs. So just more contextual based than it was before. Before you would, have your keywords, they're high volume, you add them everywhere you can, not keyword stuffing, but you know what I mean. You would just add them so you can start getting rankings for this type of keywords. I think now the shift, it's from the keywords perspective, it's towards more like long tail keywords, more contextual, not necessarily like the highest traffic keyword, but the ones that are, like relevant for you and for where you want to be, how you want to like rank or be searched or in LLMs. That's one side of things. But I think the second one, the CRO, so like I would say the creatives, I think they're really, really important. In terms of like that conversion rate, it's usually obviously your screens that make that conversion happen. You want, like your value proposition, you want strong visuals, especially I would say the first two screens are really important. I think that was like before. I still think they're quite important because that's where you have like your unique value proposition. That's where you should add, like those CTAs. And if it's true that the algorithms are looking into keywords on your screens, that's where you maybe want to like, capitalize on a certain type of messaging. And also testing, just testing the user behavior, seeing what works, what doesn't. I think that's still relevant. And then also taking, I would say, advantage of like Apple, for example, features like promotional context, like we talked about, like promotional text and CPPs that we're going to talk about, and in-app events if possible for your app, all this sort of things. I do believe that it helps your App Store listening. So I would say it's just kind of a recipe of all these things together.
Yeah, so this is a mix of everything. And Marina, thank you. And you, I think, have answered the question we have on the chat. Just a moment. With AEO, are keywords still worth investing in, or are they become less relevant? And you have answered that, yeah, you have just to look at other side of keywords, like. And yeah, with creatives, I agree with your advice. First two screenshots matter most, and sometimes if the resources are limited, just focus on the first one, even probably just make it perfect. And yeah, again, like attention to our audience, we have questions both on the chat. You see our experts are answering on the go, and also we have a Q&A section. We can store the questions there and answer them at the end of our panel if we have time. And if we don't worry, because we will answer them. We will follow you up and send the recording, and no question will be left unattended and unanswered. So please feel free to ask. And now let's move to a big, one of my favorite topics, ASO plus user acquisition, or I would even say ASO versus user acquisition, paid user acquisition, of course, I mean. And you might know that there is a long-running debate in the industry. Does spending on paid UA actually lift your organic rankings, or probably sometimes vice versa? What's the reality in practice in 2026? Luisa, could you please share your take on that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the short answer is that yes, there is still a connection between whether you spend on paid UA and how that reflects on your organic rankings. It's not directly, I would say, and it works different depending on the app store. So we've seen that on Google, for example, the connection between paid and organic is clear. For example, we've seen even with AirHelp recently. So when we started running Google app campaigns for AirHelp, the organic rankings like went up right away. So the Google algorithm picked up the volume like very quickly, and of course, it's a combination with other signals as well as the guys mentioned. So engagement, conversions, and quality, like more vital metrics on the product side. But it's still that signal from the paid UA. It helps with getting you like out there and like increasing your organic performance, your organic rankings. On the App Store is a bit less obvious from my experience, but it's still there. So the key thing is about Apple's algorithm is like the velocity, right, of downloads. Like we all heard of that a long time. So we've seen that whenever, for example, we start running Apple ads in a virgin market, so a market that you haven't ran any ads before on Apple ads, and suddenly like you start running, the algorithm picks up that volume, that velocity, and then puts you in better rankings. It doesn't mean that if you spend more, you get more better rankings. If it was that straightforward, we wouldn't be here talking about like signals, etc. But it does give you that first or one of those signals that will support with your organic rankings. It's running paid on the back of like of your ASO activities. So yeah, so it's still connected. It's still it brings incrementality to your organic growth, but it doesn't running it paid. It doesn't do the job alone, and running ASO it doesn't do the job alone. So it's kind of like you have to yeah, put efforts and invest on various metrics to get your app visible, app like performing and improving your metrics overall.
Yeah, thank you so much, Luisa. And in this light, I have a question. So they should work together, but what about the teams? Should UA and ASO teams still be separate, or probably it makes sense to unite them into like growth teams? And if you guys could give an ASO team access to, say, 3 or anything UA metrics or learnings, what would they be and why? Marina, as you are on both sides of both ASO and paid UA, what do you think?
I think, yeah, before we would have an ASO person, then you would have your UA person, and they would not really like talk that much, maybe. But I think like nowadays, the team should be together. ASO and UA should function in synergy, should function together. I think especially because as an ASO person, you get so many insights from UA. If you look at some UA metrics that could help, ASO teams, top performing creatives by CVR, conversion rate, I think, what drives installs, what kind of creatives convert. Then we look at retention, LTV by campaign, to understand which users are high quality and just kind of getting a bit deep down into that. So the ASO can take the learnings and they can apply them as well on the stores. Audience and messaging insights, because UA has access to different pools of audiences. You can segment by that, so you can understand your users, who are you talking to, and then you can basically translate that into your ASO, and you can personalize that with CPPs, for example, and whatnot. So I think they definitely should work in synergy. I think it's quite important, and also kind of UA to understand what happens on the store, kind of what keywords, then you go to Apple ads, and then maybe you can push that keyword. I don't want to dive into, like cannibalization, all of that, but also, making sure that you're not doing that, but by working together, you can ensure that. So I think they should work together.
Thank you so much, Marina. And like a short note again, I can't just leave it because we are having more and more questions both in Q&A section and on the chat. And Anastasia also asked a question, and our expert replied, but I think the replies are not visible, so I will just quickly read them. Anastasia asked how to track your app discovery for LLMs. So mostly web traffic impacts your visibility from your experience. And Mykyta answered that there is a ratio 60 to 40 probably. Web brings the core, but right now ASO is still supporting a lot, as App Store itself is a great source for those LLMs. And Niek added, indeed, like Luisa mentioned, 50% of the cited sources within LLMs are App Store listings. The rest is extra. Best of articles being featured on tech websites, activity on Reddit, etc. So, yeah, thank you, guys. Anastasia, let us know if we have answered your question. And now let's move to another interesting topic. Stay with us. It's CPPs, of course, because CPPs were initially seen as a paid user acquisition tool. They often went in pair, I would say, with ASA, Apple ads. How did they evolve, and how are you now using CPPs on the organic side too, if you are using, of course? Guys, please share.
Yeah, happy to start. So we're using it directly by just leveraging all the CPPs on the organic, that you can just select the keywords you want and run the CPP. But we are also using indirectly by taking the learnings from testing CPPs on Apple ads. So we've been using a lot of those CPPs to test screenshots faster than the native testing tool from Apple, right? So we've been using now the split metric CPP like rotation tool, where you can get results like quicker, and it's more like reliable than using the native tools. So basically, you can, by testing it on Apple ads, you can narrow your audience to more low intent audience, because of course, like if you're running it on natively on the App Store Connect, you're getting like your full audience, which is a combination of your brand audience and your and generic intent searches. But on Apple ads, you can like really test for non-branded terms in that specific geo, and you get results like much quicker, much faster. And it's and we take those learnings and apply on the organic listing, not only on App Store, but also we apply learnings sometimes on the Google Play, and vice versa. So yeah, it's a great tool to test and leverage the organic acquisition and paid.
Thank you, Luisa. And I think we will soon share a great, like, not even case study, but even more than that, about custom product pages and great results we at Applica have seen with that. But meanwhile, Niek, Marina, I know that you are also like experimenting with CPPs, correct?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of CPPs. I love CPPs. I think they're great, especially when you have different products. So working in finance, you have like a trading account, and you have like a pension, and you have maybe other accounts. So you have very different, user behavior. The way you would speak to like a trading customer is very different that you would speak to like a pension customer. So I think CPPs really help with that customization, personalization of the journey, and finding them through Apple Ads keywords, but also adding that CPP into your UA campaigns. So you have certain ads for pension, and then you kind of send them to that. And in general, I think they're great if you have different products and different kind of messaging to different types of customers, audiences. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, Niek, or want to add something, or we can move to the
No,
next?
I definitely agree with Marina here, especially for people, app marketers that are involved with apps that have different features and different focuses, right? Like AirHelp, it's flight tracker, it's claims for disruptions, it's insurance, it's a travel assistant as well. And with these CPPs, you can actually really explain well what your product does in this specific category. So I definitely encourage everyone to use it. Yeah.
I agree with everyone. I also love CPPs. And now let's sum up everything we have discussed today. So like we have touched both ASO and Paid UA, and also very importantly AI engine optimization. So what do we guys, like our peers in the industry, mobile marketers, need to do to stay ahead of the curve? Our suggestion is just to quickly, concisely share like a kind of playbook for 2026. What must we do, like must-haves? So maybe Luisa, you could start.
Yeah. I would say speed up the executions, your tests. It's very important because AI is accessible for everyone, right? And if you're ahead, if you're testing first, you're automating first, you're learning first, then you get to eat the pie faster, I would say. So I would say, yeah, just keep testing and being ahead of the curve on your executions. Then the second thing is to optimize your app store listings towards user intent, not just keyword alone, as we've been saying throughout the hour. Because I have this strong belief that the app store's search bars, will become an AI agent. So you can like ask anything you'd like, and then they will just give you the recommendations of the apps. So now you can type, but then soon you will be able to speak, and ask whatever. And then it will be like much more than a keyword, but more context on what you're looking for, what have you tested perhaps and didn't work, etc. So that's how I see the App Store like evolving.
Really interesting assumption about AI agents, and we have had a question on the chat about what do you think about AI agents, and Lisa thinks that app stores themselves will soon turn in the kind of AI agents, and great idea. And Marina, what are your thoughts? What must mobile marketers do?
Kind of agree with what Luisa said in terms of execution. So what I would say is, creating that synergy between UA and ASO as a priority in your team. So working together, scaling, like the whole kind of like channels together. I would say that's pretty crucial in 2026 and moving forward. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Mike, do you agree? What are your recommendations?
Mm. I would be more conservative there, honestly. Like, I believe, yes, somehow AI would appear on App Store, or probably iOS or Android will become itself as an AI, providing you some suggestions. But I'd want to stay here more conservative because it's always would be about marketing, about the communication to your users. So communicate, engage, try to deliver them what they want to see, personalize the message for them, and also look and take care of your product and about the behavior of your app. Again, it matters. Stability matters. Engagement matters. So technical metrics overall. And also communication is a stuff that will help you anyway to grow organically at least.
Thank you so much. And Niek, your advice.
If I can give one piece of advice, is try and experiment with like the outside of the app store marketing, right? Like writing blogs. If you have a content team, speak to them, try and gather all of the data you can get from all of the LLMs, like what people find about your app, about your core product, etc., and try and manipulate that a little bit and see what the results are.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I think we've had a really insightful conversation today, and we have answered a lot of questions. And again, if something is left unanswered, this will be fixed. And I'll ask to launch the final poll. Sophia, could you please launch the final poll for us? Yeah, what should we go deeper into next? Because I believe you'll leave this webinar with a lot of food for thought, I would say. So what should we cover next? We'll listen to you. Please vote. Yeah, so there is a battle between AI in app marketing and creative testing for Paid UA, and also AI-driven app discovery. Now each point is getting their votes. Interesting. So I see that please answer if you haven't done yet. Just a couple of seconds, and let's. Yeah. So thank you. I think we can end this poll and show the results. Yeah. So the results are equally distributed between AI in-app marketing. I think it's somehow related to AI in-app discovery too, creative testing too. Thank you so much, guys, for visiting. Thanks for your feedback. It means a lot for us. And also, I want to thank our experts, amazing experts, Niek, Marina, Luisa, and Mykyta. Thank you so much for sharing. I see that the panel has been useful and valuable. And see you guys next time with one of the topics you've just picked by voting in the final polls. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.